All right, continuing the conversation on legislative efforts to protect children in the state of Louisiana, HB 648 was passed overwhelmingly by majorities in the State House and the Senate, but the Democrat Governor John Bel Edwards has said he will veto this bill. In fact, we're kind of waiting right now to see if he even vetoes it today. Well, joining me to talk about this and the next steps in terms of protecting children is Gene Mills, president of Louisiana Family Forum. Gene, welcome to Washington Watch.
It's good to be with you, Tony. Appreciate the good work y'all do.
Well, let's take a look at this. Where does this stand presently with the Governor Edwards?
He's sitting on his desk, and he's made a promise to veto it and two other measures very similar.
Now, the legislature, and this is much different than when I was there, is the supermajorities of Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not an issue of whether or not the Republicans can override the governor's veto.
Right. Some would say this is a chess match to see whether or not John Bel wants to be threatened with another veto override. You'll recall 2 years ago, women's sports is what caught the wind. Similar issue, the sexual politics of LGBT. And we see that once again. And to a person, every person who's voted for that bill, 2/3 in each chamber have said, we will come back and we will override the governor.
Now, when this was kind of on the bubble, actually when it was killed in committee in the Senate, you came on the program, we talked about it, and there was a big push from the citizens of Louisiana, and the senators listened, and they resurrected it, got it to the floor, passed it, sent it on to the governor. So this is clearly something that the citizens of Louisiana care about.
They do, and so do the leadership of both the House and the Senate, who are not necessarily always with us, but they had to procedurally go through the motions and the machinations to allow that redirect and resubmission to another committee to occur. So, yeah, I would say the moms that left would say their hair is on fire.
Yeah.
We would say their hearts are on fire. And they're resolved to move forward on this.
Well, I mean, this is a common sense issue. We're talking about minor kids who are undergoing experimental use of drugs. Now, we didn't go into, we've talked about this many, many times in the program, but these drugs that are being used for this were not designed for this. And so it's experimental uses of the drugs. And then you have these irreversible surgeries where healthy body parts are being cut off to accommodate an underlying psychological problem that we're refusing to address because in many cases we're denying counseling.
There's no doubt that we know it's a medical concern. We call it dysphoria, and in the past we treated it with counseling and antidepressant medications. Now the left wants to move to surgeries and hormone blockers. I heard one physician describe it this way, and he did a longitudinal study on this, to the kids who are in that category. He said, I have a child that comes to me and says, I hate my body at this moment. And the medical professional has to say, I agree with you, and then move to implement either the pharmaceuticals or the surgeries. That's criminal malpractice.
Right. Well, and I've talked with Dr. Bowens at FRC, director of our Center for Life. There's no other example in which we do that.
Hitler would be the closest thing. We call it medicine, but it's taking a legitimate institution and putting it to work for illegitimate purposes for political gain.
So let's talk just a moment now. We've gotten preliminary information that the governor has vetoed a couple of the bills that are of interest to the pro-family community, but we've not been able to verify that, so I'm not going to go into that. But the governor, by his own admission, says he's going to veto these bills. So you're gearing up for that. What should our viewers and our listeners in Louisiana be prepared to do as soon as the word comes down?
Well, don't be caught off guard. We're about to enter in the Independence Day celebration, the birth of our nation. Boy, has changed since those founding principles were laid. And the likelihood is he would release his decision at some point in time when many of us are leaving for vacation or for Independence Day celebrations. The moment that occurs, and prior to that, we're encouraging people throughout Louisiana to contact their state senators. It's going to be the state senate that he thinks he's got the strongest hand to play in, because he can punish their districts with line item vetoes.
Right.
And he's doing that right now.
Yeah.
He's making the calls to the state senators. There are two Democrats who stand to lose the most, an African-American from Shreveport and one from Monroe, Greg Tarver and Katrina Jackson. who courageously have stood with us on this. And he thinks he can reach them before the people of that district do, as well as others. Rogers Pope is another whose name's been mentioned, and others throughout the state of Louisiana that he thinks he can flip on the question of coming back with this admonition. Y'all can come back later and fix this.
Yeah.
Look, there's nobody has a God-given right or a given right governmentally to harm a child. We need to protect them now.
I was talking about this the other day. In Matthew, Jesus is presented with a question of taxes, and he asks for a coin, and the coin he says, bring me the coin. It has the picture of Caesar and the inscription on it, and he said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God's what is God's. Well, the image of Caesar may be on the temporal things, but the image of God is on the eternal things, and that includes our children. And we must not surrender our children in any form or fashion to the state. And this is a prime example of the state encroaching upon that which belongs to God, and nothing gives them the authority and the right to do this.
That's right. So our call to action is contact your state senator. You can go through our website or FRC's website. I'm sure there's going to be opportunity to link to those service providers, as well as the information of how to communicate to your state senator and let them know an override session is not optional, it's obligatory, and an override is expected.
And Gene, this is election year in Louisiana, and so this should be an election year issue. And I think everyone running for office who either running for re-election or running for a higher office that's presently in the legislature, this should be one of the first questions. Yeah. Did you vote to go into a session to override the governor's veto?
For that category of lawmaker, this is political suicide to say, no, I didn't. For those who are outgoing,
and by the way, I just say that's public record, so we'll know who voted. So they might think they can lie, but that will be public record.
And for those who care about the Louisiana Family Forum scorecard, it's also a potential scoreable vote.
I would highly recommend that be the case, because this is not something to deal with later. It's something to deal with right now. All right, Gene Mills, give your website out one more time.
LouisianaFamilyForum.org. Go to the 62nd Brigade, and you can sign on and register your concerns in a matter of a minute.
All right, Gene Mills, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate the great work you do at the Louisiana Family Forum.
Thank you, Tony. Y'all keep it up as well.